Welcome back to Times Square. Kevin McCullough, glad to have you with us. As you know, for the past 4 years, right up through the election, one of my primary focuses has been to help, I don't know, retell the story of the American woman and kind of the things that she's known for, defined as, et cetera. The media paints such a one-sided picture. And that didn't stop with Trump's win. Strangely, if you've looked on social media, Instagram in particular, TikTok a little bit, but mostly Instagram, and if you follow different news feeds, you have seen that since the election, something that they're now trying to say isn't an overwhelming mandate, wasn't a big blowout. It absolutely was all those things. But since that election, you have had mainstream voices come back hard and heavy on some of the themes that they didn't want to face during the election itself. Here to discuss is May Mailman of the Independent Women's Law Center, and she's doing a great job in kind of championing a whole staff of people that are going after these issues. May, it's been fun to get to know you over the last couple of months. Thank you for coming back one more time. I think you're joining us from Florida today, so I think this is the third location you've been in since we started talking, and you don't ever seem to have any grass growing under your feet.
I just like to rack up my airline miles.
That's it. Well, hopefully they'll be put to good use at some point in time for your family. Let's talk about this. This week you had a range of things being discussed. You had Congresswoman Nancy Mace put forward a resolution that said that the Capitol bathrooms should be used by men's room should be used by men and women's room should be used by women. This is a little bit of a hot point because evidently there is an elected official to Congress who identifies as the first trans person to be elected, and it is a man who is identifying as a woman. You had Mike Johnson come out and say, men are men, women are women, and a man can't become a woman. Therefore, we will observe God's kind of natural law in the way we use our bathrooms in the House of Representatives. You had the president respond yesterday with CBS News saying that the disrespect being shown trans people is just unacceptable, and we have to be a more compassionate and kind community. It doesn't seem like, in just listening to these debates, that the elites that lost the election and lost it fairly sizably have learned any lessons from what happened on election night. This is what you spend your time working on. Where are we?
Yeah, this is what I predicted, is that there was going to be a blip of self-reflection, which is that Democrats don't share the values of Western civilization, really, but also of the American public. And that blip would be overtaken because the core of the Democrat Party is currently progressive, and progressivism seeks to destroy these natural truths because nature is constraining a little bit. If you are a woman and if you're the only sex that can have babies, that is a little bit constraining. And so how do we break from those constraints? How do we change a society? How do we rethink property ownership? Oh, we do land acknowledgements because colonialism is bad. So really, if the core, and that land acknowledgement is on page 1 of the Democrat Party platform, right? The core of the Democrat Party is progressive. And so no, there will not be a lengthy self-reflection. They will double down on progressivism.
Well, and that invades every aspect of policy, and specifically how it impacts the debate about sex. And I've been probably a little too crass about this, but on some of the debates that I've gotten into, I'm like, guys, it's real simple. Biology dictates penises belong in the room where the penis is, and the ones that are banned don't belong in the room where they're banned. Like, it's just, I'm sorry to be as direct as that, but it is like we cannot have a basic biological discussion and it be acceptable to the people that want to be in charge of everything. And I don't know how society survives if you must deny reality to exist. Like, how does that form the natural function of family? How do you have a policy that impacts people equally across the board if you don't understand that their equality stems largely from their distinctions? Like, this is the stuff that is very frustrating to me as the father of a daughter. And I don't have a college age daughter. I don't have a daughter who's been whacked in the face by a volleyball coming at 120 miles an hour to her head. Um, but I can tell you that if I was in that situation, I would be even more animated than I've been.
Yeah. So, well, it hasn't really been tried, right? To have a society that just completely rejects nature. A Western civilization was about learning the truth. What is the nature, and go and trying to discover truth. And now, I think progressivism wants to recreate society to deny truth. So this is an experiment. But I will say, with bathrooms specifically, I think for a very long time, women were uncomfortable with men in their bathrooms, but we were willing to put our discomfort aside because we wanted to be nice. We don't want to make waves. And at the end of the day, it's like, can I survive this? Yeah, like there will be some instances where women don't, but like in general, I can survive this. So I'll just discomfort myself. But the problem with that, which we have discovered, is that what it required us to do is accept that that person was a woman. And once you accept that a man is a woman, all of a sudden they're taking women's trophies, they're in women's locker rooms, they're in women's prisons, they're in women's ICE shelters. Like, once you accept that a man is a woman, they're in women's sororities, they're in the Daughters of the American Revolution, they're in the Girl Scouts. Like, it became too much. And so it's like, listen, yes, I'm willing to make myself a little bit uncomfortable for the sake of not making waves, but I've seen what you've done with my compassion. I've seen what you've done with my empathy. You have taken advantage of my empathy. And that's why you have to say no. And I think women are still like, we're still like, well, can we just, no, your empathy is being weaponized against you. And so it requires some discomfort to say, no, I'm not okay with this.
And this makes my blood boil, because as a fierce defender of strong manhood, like, we should not be the sex that is foisting that upon you. Like, you shouldn't have to say, yes, I'll be I'll be out of my comfort zone a little bit to make that person feel better. I mean, your natural compassion and empathy make you great mothers. That is why God even created your body to be able to nurture a baby and to do those types of things. There is so much wrong about you having to say, well, I'll be personally discomforted here just to go along and get along. We men should not be allowing or pushing that onto you in the culture. So I can't apologize for my entire sex, but it's just so wrong. And as a guy who loves his wife and loves his daughter, this is not going to stand, not on my watch. We're talking with May Mailman, who directs the Independent Women's Law Center. And when we come back, she's written a piece for Fox News that delves into this. What is the solution for day one? What should Donald Trump do? We'll ask her that next as we continue here with Kelly McCullough.